Alright guys, so we are talking about cells, and one thing I want to talk about is the cell cycle, in which cells continue throughout their life span to grow, to replicate their chromosomes, go through mitosis, which separates the chromosomes, and then cytokinesis. The stage I want to talk about here is mitosis. Now, according to the next generation science standards, it's not necessary that you remember each of the individual phases and memorize it, that there's interphase, which goes into prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. You don't have to know that, you don't have to memorize that. But you should understand this process and what is happening in it. So you have these cells that are growing, getting bigger. What they end up doing is they make an exact copy of their chromosomes, of their DNA. And then you can see that they start to line up around the center of the cell. Eventually what happens is they pull, and this is exact copies of it, so they make copies. They pull to one side and the other set goes to the other side of the cell. The cell pinches off, you get this cytokinesis that happens, which is the growing of the splitting up of the organelles and the cytoplasm. And you end up with two daughter cells, so two cells that are identical genetically to the cell that split. So this is how our body makes more cells. If I get a cut and I make more cells, that is because my body goes through this process of mitosis. And it is a very important process for us to continue making cells. If everything goes right, that's a good thing. But there are times where mitosis goes wrong, where they start to make more of themselves, and the regulators telling them to shut down and stop making more of themselves don't go into place, and that's where they can make too many and cause things like cancer, where cancer is when we find a tumor, and that is because there is a cell there that keeps growing, dividing, and it doesn't stop. And that is cancer, and it can be very dangerous. But overall, the main thing here is that you understand mitosis is the division of our normal cells, in which they grow, divide, split up identical copies of the DNA to both sides, and divide into two daughter cells.